We're live. Hello. Welcome to the live show for round 10 of the Voltathon, the final Voltathon live show ever as of right now. So I might be talked into bringing it back someday if I get bored. I'm feeling some Disney again, but
You ended on a really good note by Hercules, because if people have been demanding Hercules for like 2 years.
People have been demanding Hercules since the beginning. So
what better way to say that's the end, folks, by doing Hercules.
Just doing that. That and like we went out on a really, really good book too. So
of the page that I read, yeah, it was great.
My only gripe with the book was there was not enough kissing. Just there wasn't. Thor is like, what's wrong with you?
I have no words.
I am who I am. Some really
fantasy is always better with a little bit of romance.
It is. I mean, there is some romance in this. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But real quick, let us go ahead. We have a couple of hosts that are on their way. They had some stuff come up. Wait, one of them is here.
Hello.
Hi. Live. Okay, perfect. So the only person that is not here at the moment is Cal. Cal did have a previous engagement tonight, so he is going to try and make it back in time to be on and say goodbye and all of that, but he did not get a chance to. Oh no, Bree is bringing her notes, I think. Where did I put the book? I just realized I did not grab the book. I went and grabbed my other book. We're super professional here on my channel. Yes. Nice.
That is
that
such a
cover,
pretty
now that I have read it, makes so much sense.
Oh my god. That's so pretty.
Anyways, so since this is a readathon and we have some new people possibly, if y'all want to start out with introducing yourselves, obviously I'm Margaret. This is my channel. I am the original mind behind Voltathon. It's my fault that it's been around for 10 rounds. And yeah. Thor, you want to go next?
Okay. Hihariwashite. My name is Michelle from Throw Once Another Letter, also known as Thor. And I read Indigenous Lit, Queer Lit. I like to bullet journal. And if you don't know me by now, hi. I really hope you know me by now, but yeah, we're going out on a strong note on round 10. Super duper happy to be here and to support Margaret in any way, shape, or form, even if I didn't read the book.
Yes, we did have a couple of hosts that were slumpy. That's fine. Many of us still read the book, and I think we can discuss some of it without terrible spoilers.
I also, don't care. You can spoil it all you want.
Is that Black Sun I see? That is such a good book.
Yes.
I love that book. I need to reread it so I can read the sequel. Okay. Paige, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and your channel?
Hi, I'm Paige from the channel Pages with Paige, and a new addition to the co-host world for this round. I'm super excited to have joined for the last round, and it be Hercules, which is one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. And I accidentally combined two readathons and forgot to put Raybearer as an option, but I've still managed to read it, so feeling good. But yeah, really happy to just be a part of the community and get to join in for the last hurrah.
Nice. All right, and then Bree, that just leaves you to introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, my name is Bree. I read books and talk about them with a few people. My name here is also my name on the interweb. And you will hear Mora in the background because she is in her crate because she needs to go potty. And she's not going to go potty in the floor. So
Mora is a 6-month-old poodle who takes her time sometimes.
she likes to not go potty when I need her to, and she likes to swallow socks whole. That is our two main issues.
Yep.
Everything else is great, so I'm not complaining.
Rip to the socks.
Yes. Oh, you missed it, Thor. We were like celebrating a dog throwing up live on stream on Bree's channel.
It was a lot.
So, anyways, so let's start out. Let me. Okay, everything went. I'm just making sure all of the notifications went. We are also missing Brittany. Brittany was another one of the people who was supposed to be co-hosting. Unfortunately, she's in Nova Scotia and they are dealing with the aftermath of a hurricane. So her power is out until probably tomorrow and she was not able to join us, sadly. But she was wonderful and did host some sprints. And we did get to talk a little bit about the book. So if you want some of her thoughts, I would definitely check out her channel. Everyone is linked down below in the description box. I'm sure everyone who read the book will be having it in like their monthly wrap up and all of that stuff. So that said, let's get into talking about the readathon. Starting out with, for those of us that are not in a reading slump, how did we do? Thor, if you want to just say how you did generally in life, that is fine.
You know what? Yeah, I will. Okay, so I mean, I had a good month or a good week. Other than earlier this week, I was approached by somebody on the street, and it was not a good time. It made me feel very unsafe, and so I think that's kind of what like made everything all out of whack. However, I did get a picture of my son doing equine therapy, so that was pretty great. That's on Twitter if anybody wanted to go see that.
Nice.
And other than that, we're just chilling. I got like four books in the mail on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I did not read the fine print. They're all middle grades. It was like, I thought that you could just pick one. No, it was an all or nothing kind of thing. So I'm excited either way.
That is so funny. All right. Nice. Anyone else? How did we do this week as far as the readathon went? Are we having one of those like everyone just read the group book type moments?
Yeah, I did read other things, but like this week has just blurred into one because my best friend's getting married this weekend, and so I'm like got that going in the brain, and then this. So I have read other things. I haven't actually looked at what prompts they covered because I was like, yes,
Yes.
If I get this done, I'm okay.
Yeah, I also got this done to cover all of the prompts. Specifically, I was using this to read book written by a Black woman, the Muses prompt. And then I don't remember what the prompts were for them. I also have finished Arusha and the Song of Death, and I'm almost done with Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones.
I still gotta read that.
Yeah, I love it. You still gotta read which one there, Thor? Howl's Moving Castle or Song of Death? Yeah, it was so much fun. They are so like it's got some other people in. They're so snarky with each other. I love it.
I had full intentions to read though. I had like 4 books in the library. 2 of these are from Black authors, so I had intentions.
Yeah. Thor was waiting for their copy to come in from the library, and it just never did. So I totally understand that. Anyways, I also am currently reading Nettle and Bone to fulfill one of the prompts. I am here. So whether or not I will actually finish it is anyone's guess. I guess it just depends on when the live show ends and how much time I have left to read before I have to go to bed. But anyways, I don't know that I hit any of the other prompts because I will be honest, I tend to forget about the non-book related prompts.
I mean, I watched a movie and didn't feel guilty for watching it.
Good for you. That's how you should watch the movies.
Yeah.
I definitely took an hour at some point in time to kind of do stuff that I wanted to do, but yeah.
I
Hey,
watched on the
Ro!
today.
Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you so much.
I read The It Girl by Ruth Ware and the group book, and then I started Leave the World Behind, but I'm only maybe 20-ish pages into that so far. But I probably will read more after we get off, depending on how long it goes. Who knows?
I mean, you are an hour ahead of me, so you have a little bit more time.
Right, exactly.
Let me see. Where am I? There it is. Round 10. That's not even English, Margaret. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Read while listening to romantic. I can do read while listening to romantic music later. I can definitely do that. And then I will have completed all of the prompts. So we are good. Okay. Any other thoughts about how we did during the readathon? Anything interesting about the books that we were reading for those of us?
I watched On the Come Up today, even though I didn't get to read the book.
Yeah.
It was really I liked it.
Yeah, that's good. I'm excited for it. I have to wait till it's not in theaters anymore though, because I'm not going into a movie theater until.
Yeah, I watched it on Paramount.
Yeah.
Because Calvin and I got Paramount Plus like last month sometime.
Nice. I'll have to see. Like, it probably is on YouTube too.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so, we will move shortly to Hercules when Bree comes back. Bree's like, okay, so
I'm back.
I like to start out with like, what was your first experience with this particular Disney movie, if you remember it? I am being the oldest here. I do remember going to see it in theaters and being super excited, but also slightly enraged that they messed up Greek mythology as much as they did. Like, I understood why a Disney movie wasn't going to have Zeus having a child with someone who was not his wife. But yeah, I'm a little bit more mad about it now because like kids have messy families sometimes, and that's something that can be represented in the the fiction that they consume. Mm-hmm. But I saw it in theaters, and then we got it. The other big memory that I have associated with this is it was what my kind of like you got out of the hospital present. One of the times I was hospitalized for asthma. So my parents were like, all right, when you get out, we will go buy you this movie. And I was so excited because I loved Meg. She was one of my favorite characters for a very long time. So.
Didn't she also voice Belle?
Susan Egan? She was Belle in the Broadway.
Oh.
She was the first Belle on Broadway. But she was not, I don't think she was not Belle's voice for that particular movie. So she's very good. Let's see. Rose says, I saw it on TV. We used to get American media a few years later. That makes sense. That does.
I'm trying to think. I think my first experience was that my aunt, she would always get movies for me when I was younger. Like I was really like kind of spoiled in that aspect, but she would get me like a Disney movie, and then my mom would literally write inside the case of like who it belonged to and like when we got it and like why and what for. And so I remember, I don't know when or how, I know she got it for me. And then I think my second experience watching it was in either history class or it was in AP English. I can't remember, but I know we watched Disney movies at some point in school.
Cool teacher that would do a Disney movie. Although you could do some critical analysis of themes in Hercules and translation.
My English teacher actually during English 10 committed an entire part of the semester, like an entire week or so, to just like critiquing Pocahontas And I just remember all of the eyes on me, and I'm like, I have nothing to do with this colonial crap right here. I'm just
Please
trying
don't.
to get a grade. I'm a senior. I just want to pass. Like,
She's like, please don't, please.
don't blame it on me.
I'm. Oh my god, that's so dumb. I remember that being one that I was obsessed with as well. However, as an adult, I'm like, that's one we're not gonna revisit.
Cringe.
Just specifically knowing that they consulted with experts, and then when the experts were like, hey, you need to make these changes, like they actually consulted with her tribe. And they're like, hey, this is very romantic, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, no, this is the story we want to tell those. And they threw out all of their notes. And I was just like, no. I do appreciate that they ex-nayed the love duet. Would have been very inappropriate in that movie.
Yeah.
So,
but other than that, Hercules was definitely one that was at least passed around throughout the school.
Yeah, nice. What about Bree or Paige? Do you guys have any memories of like when you first saw it, or?
I don't remember the first time I saw it, but I remember it not ever being my favorite per se until I got older. And as I got older, I started to enjoy it more. And so, like, as kids, Brooklyn and my sister, and I never really gravitated towards watching it, but we've always had it in our VHS collection.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I got older that I really, like, just had, like, the nostalgia for it and everything, and especially with the music. The music is what really does it for me, is the song.
The music is the best part of the movie.
Yeah, there are some really well done songs, and it's like I noticed while we were watching it that a lot of elements in the score, a lot of the melodies are actually echoing some of the melodies that are in Hunchback, which I thought was kind of interesting, but strange. But it has very similar intervals in the melodies. Don't know why.
I mean, that's part of, I think, because both that and Hunchback, I feel, was going for more of a almost show tunes-esque thing. But let's see, who wrote Hercules?
And what's really interesting is, like, the score itself was what was so similar to me, but then also the as we were watching and I noticed that, then I noticed that the like the songs that, like, with vocals and everything also had very similar vibes in some elements, like certain ones, like one of them, the one with the I can't remember what it's called, but the one where Phil is singing mostly, when you first, like, right after you first meet Phil, that song is very similar to A Guy Like You.
Okay. And I figured out what happened.
Vibe and melody. I would love to hear it.
Okay. Alan Menken did the score for both.
Yeah. I knew it had to
that's why.
Something like that. But yeah, that's the most standout part of it to me, is really the music in both. I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I think that we'll go back to that. But Paige, do you have anything to add?
I don't really remember the first time I ever saw it, but I know that I've always enjoyed it. And then as I got more into just enjoying retellings and mythology-based stories, whether it be accurate or not, it's sort of like just crept up there. And, like, I don't know, I have, like, all of Disney's just chilling. But I don't really rewatch them frequently, and I don't have, like, ones that I always go back to. But if anyone's like, you want to watch Hercules, I'm like, hell yeah, I do.
Let's go. Yeah,
let's get this. Again, with agreeing with Bree that it's just the music is what makes it for me 100%. Like, I will just sing and dance around to the soundtrack rather than actually listen to watch the movie. Like, I'll just go listen to the soundtrack and just be like, yeah.
Because we all know how Cal feels about Phil.
I mean, that's not a bad. It's funny because, like, it's the worst song in the movie, but it's not a bad song. since we're on this already, hello Jan, thank you for joining. One of the things that I noticed while watching this, since we're talking about the music already, is how well this movie does like musical montages that move the plot forward. We see it in
Go the distance.
we see it, well, not so much in Go the Distance because that's more contained, but like we see it in the training sequence with Phil's song. We see it in Zero to Hero. Yes. And it's interesting because I feel like it's a little bit different vibe than so many other Disney movies because they really leaned into some of the more show tuney gospel choir aspects of it. So there are shots that are very reminiscent of what you would see on kind of like a pro shots from a Broadway film musical versus like when you're watching Aladdin, A Whole New World. They are in the world of the movie the entire time. It's all in the same continuous scene instead of like having like outtakes of the Muses doing stuff and all of that. So it's interesting how they used choreography and music and all of that to move the plot forward. I thought that was really interesting. So
it's a better use of the time as well. Honestly, that is one of my biggest pet peeves is when a montage wastes time.
Yeah,
because you don't like making a film. You have very limited amount of time that you can do all the things. It's very different from a book where you have time to linger. You don't.
I think that was a fairly short montage for what they did.
Yeah. They kept it real short and snappy in the amount of time you would have like a Broadway montage, that's another like quality of Broadway that you will see is you'll have show tunes that will start in one point and then you'll see the character travel, and it's kind of like, especially at the beginning, it's your introduction. But yeah, montages need to be there to show something progressing in the plot or something about the character.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can do past montages, that's good as well. But I was impressed by that. Do we have any other thoughts about the music and how it was used?
The Muses are life.
I loved their choice to go with the Muses for this.
The Muses were great because you read the mythology and you read like about everything like that, and it's so dense. But then here you have the Muses, and it's 1994, 96,
97.
97. Oh, I was only like 5 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. It came out the year Cal was born, and then was released on VHS in 98. Did I just make you feel old?
Yep.
I was 2.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
well, when it came out on VHS, I was 6 years old. Oh, golly. Ow. Alrighty,
I was
then.
10.
Oh, okay.
I had just been hospitalized for what would be the last time in my life.
It's okay. Ben was 7, so I don't care.
So, we also get a really interesting variety of songs in this. You know, because we have the typical "I Want" song for "Go the Distance." We have these great big show-stopping numbers with "Gospel Truth," "Zero to Hero." We have kind of the character song with Phil's song, and then we also have like the love song.
Yeah.
The only thing we don't have is a villain song.
We've missed out. We have lucked out on that.
Yeah. I don't know if the guy who played Hades has a great singing voice. Who knows?
I don't think James would.
Actually, no, because he was on Broadway. He was in Broadway shows, so he could have.
I don't think that Hades as a character needed a song, though.
I mean, he really didn't. Like,
I mean, he wasn't that evil.
He was just mad at his brother.
He was. I mean, I would have been mad at
Zeus
what's
is
his
a
name,
dick, so I would have
too.
been mad at him too.
Just like throw me down in the underworld and like leave me there.
Thanks, bro.
Let's
Love you.
see.
Yeah, he was on Broadway, so he could have.
And it's like
Yeah,
every
he
time
was
I
on
come up
Broadway.
to
I'm not seeing if he was in any musicals. I'm not recognizing any of the names here.
It could have also been a contracting issue as well, because
Mm.
costs of getting both talents can be higher.
Yeah,
You
that
want me to change you, I'm going to make you pay me this much more.
because a lot of the time what Disney does or did at that point was they would hire someone to be the voice actor and then they would hire somebody to be the singing voice, which is why Leia Salonga is in so many Disney movies and she's so many Disney princesses. She's the singing voice for both Jasmine and Mulan. So, but yeah, I love the choice to do the Muses and to also lean into, because like how Disney probably people have historically done stuff like they went, okay, if we're going to use gospel music, we are going to have it represented by Black women instead of just taking the music and using it in this very, very white movie for the most part.
It would have not had the same effect if it had been just like a bunch of white women in a choir.
It would have
You
been
would not have had the same. You would not have had the same kind of energy in that.
I
It would
think
have been
it's
straight
actually
up
a TikTok out
uncomfortable.
there. Oh, sorry.
It would have just been straight up uncomfortable.
It would have been more show-tuney. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can tell listening to this, these are definitely women who are at least familiar with gospel music and are gospel singers. To get like typically when you have white women that have that much vocal power, they're either a pop singer or they are in Broadway. So it would have been a lot more like, I'm not sure structured, but it would have felt a lot less instantaneous or spontaneous, I guess, if that makes sense. It's kind of what I'm going. But I really liked that touch because that's not something you would think about as a kid. And like I'm watching it going, they very much could have done a not cool move here, and they chose to actually do the right thing.
Wow, Disney, what are you doing, buddy? It's those moments of clarity, and then they go and do something equally dumb.
Of course, as always.
Gotta
So
keep it balanced.
yeah, I would be okay with a little bit less balance on.
Yeah, I'm happy for it to be like fully up here and no stupid down here, but yeah.
Yes, I like how they're going with a lot of their more recent ones where they're sitting there going, okay, let's make sure that we are finding underrepresented actors for these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is everywhere. I think he's just ubiquitous in our culture at this point.
Agree.
So, I'm happy for him. I love it. He seems to be having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. The only area I wish he would not be in is singing. Love him a lot. Love him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You mean you didn't like his rap song?
What?
Rap,
I loved his rap song.
Now, rap I could probably deal with, but I haven't heard it yet. But
it's goofy, but I like it.
Yeah.
But like,
I just appreciate The Rock no matter what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems just like one of those genuinely like not an idiot
Mm-hmm.
men. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy, but he's not like
he's aware
a boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he was in WWE for a very long time.
Exactly, and yet
he probably had all of that time to like sit.
Exactly.
Wow, dudes are dumb. I think he's good as a character singer. I don't think that he's ever going to be someone who, like you want to give the fantastic, like you're not going to want him playing Phantom in Phantom of the Opera,
right?
But I think like as Maui, he did really well, just having like the cockiness and the confidence that song needed.
Yeah.
I mean, I could imagine him in a opera or like what is this, musical? Yeah.
I could imagine him in a musical, but he's not going to be the person that you are giving the most vocally demanding role. At least not at the current skill level that he has evident.
Love him though.
I'd love to see him take on Friend Like Me in the Aladdin musical version.
What is that? You would have, there are a lot of people that just would have fun with that song.
Yeah.
It's such a good song. That's one of those that like you can't sit still listening to, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think he does a better job of Maui's song than Lin-Manuel Miranda.
It's not hard. I love
No.
him. But he is not as
he can't sing.
People think he is.
It's but yeah, I've got like both versions, and then when Lin-Manuel's comes on, I'm like, where's the Rock's version?
Yeah, no. He is very good at his particular type of music that he is comfortable with and that he writes. Like he does really well in Hamilton.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him take on like a more challenging vocally role though. So that's one of those things that like I appreciate what he does and like his performances. But I do recognize that he does not have like he has his weaknesses as well. Like most performers have their weaknesses when it comes to vocal ability. Unless your name is Kristen Chenoweth, in which case, how?
That woman's been in everything.
That woman is literally like she is the true triple threat.
I loved her.
Like, does she have an EGOT yet? But okay, some other things that I think we can touch on. Let's see. Do we want to do? We were just talking about this, but there are some interesting family and relationship dynamics in this movie. Who else in this watch time realized for the first time that Hercules is not an adult yet through all of this movie?
I did know this previous. Megara's 28, he's 18. Just.
Wait, she's what?
She's 28.
Okay, that is.
Now I'm uncomfortable.
I'm very uncomfortable. I was thinking she was like 22. Which is funny because both of them are drawn as much older adults, in my opinion. Like
Agreed. Agreed.
I'm like especially Meg, but Hercules as well looks like a fully formed adult.
Like it doesn't look like they're that.
Yeah, that young.
He's like a 14-year-old boy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, now I feel fucked up. That's great. Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys.
It's the muscle build, the specific type of muscle build that he has. Most 18-year-olds don't build muscle in that particular way. Which makes it, because like his face, I could see it. And when he was all scrawny, I could see it a little bit.
Yeah, when he was all scrawny, he looked that way.
But yeah, the particular type of build of muscle, I feel like, is not totally accurate to how most 18-year-old bodies build muscle.
Yeah. Well, like I know some pretty I've known pretty burly, like broad-shouldered, like teenagers that were that way from the time they were 15, 16, 17. But you looked at their face and they still, like, you could tell they were a kid.
Right.
And, like, the baby. All that kind of baby chubbiness. Barely an adult chubbiness. I'm highly uncomfortable now. I didn't realize that. Why would they make that decision?
I love that.
Why would they make that decision?
Because she had like a full lover before him that wasn't teenage love.
Yeah, that makes sense. Again, you could still, especially in this era, you could still have that by like 22, 23, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that is extremely weird. I'm going to block that from my memory.
Sorry for breaking y'all.
Listen, we're going to get into it, but there are some definite thoughts that I have of differences between me watching it as an adult versus me watching it as a kid.
Emotional damage.
Everyone else gets to be scarred along with us. But I really like that this like kind of covers like birth family, found family, and also like adoptive family all in kind of rolled up in one.
Yeah.
They're like nice little touches with like his parents aren't in most of the movie, but like you see them occasionally. I liked how they kept them in there a little bit.
Yeah. I agree.
It's cool that he got his mama house.
Yeah.
So cute.
Rich kids should do that unless their parents were absolutely terrible to them. So, Jeanette McCurdy does not need to buy her mother a house, number one, because her mom's dead. But.
Oh, okay.
But that mom did not deserve the child to buy her house. But, if you can and your parents need one, smart idea.
It makes me think of all the feels.
That boy is also as impulsive as Hercules is. I can totally see him catching a frisbee. I can see Alex catching a frisbee and accidentally knocking down an entire market area.
Yeah, 100%.
Wait, what was that movie?
All the feels.
The book. The spoiler alert.
The sequel to spoiler
right.
alert.
Right. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't read it yet. Sorry.
Nice.
It's a good thing. It's a really great time.
It is a very good book. Alex gave me secondhand embarrassment many, many times.
I love him so much. It's so good.
I love him. I would also not be able to be in a relationship with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's just so blunt and he just says, blurts stuff out.
Mm.
And there were so many times I'm like, if I was Lauren right now, I'd be very uncomfortable with him sharing that information where other people could hear.
Oh, God.
So, anyways, she's fine with it. But I'm just like, Twitch.
When your friend just has no boundaries and you're like, okay, cool. We're going with the flow.
Mm-hmm. How did we feel about some of the changes that were made to the Greek mythology? It's very interesting to see kind of this Disney-fied version of the Greek gods who are very non-Disney-esque.
It was kind of cool how everybody was made all glowy looking and Hermes, I feel like that was absolutely perfect.
Hermes was wonderful. I want more representations of Hermes that are like that.
Agreed.
Because Hermes didn't even look like a dude. Hermes was just just looked like this gender fluid chill being that was just okay, I'll go.
With the glasses, he always for some reason reminds me of Elton John.
Yeah.
Oh.
So. Anyway.
Oh. That was
Hera
not the
was
guy
way
that I
too
thought
nice.
it was.
Did you just find out who Elton John is?
No. The voice actor for Hermes.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was David Spade.
No, that's definitely
It's not. No, it's not.
Who is it?
It's Paul Schaffer. I think.
That sounds familiar slightly.
Wait, is that the same guy who used to be David Letterman's guy?
Yeah, Late Night with David Letterman.
Oh my god, he looks so much like the character. Look at this.
With the glasses?
Glasses, look at this. That is wild.
We love
I like that though. When you have characters that are based partially on
It's one of my favorite things that they do.
They're actors sometimes. I can't remember who plays Hercules.
Or when they film,
Donovan.
when they actually film the actors voicing so that they can make the mannerisms of the character match
Yeah.
the natural tendencies of the actor. I'm just like, yes.
Well, that's part of why they will do the voices before. Is so that when they are animating, they have that. That's why we have so much film of them. Which is wild. How when you sit down and actually look at how animated movies are made, or at least that specific type of animated movie is made. We have so much footage of Disney, the Muses, using the choreography. I am sure there is a video somewhere of someone dancing out that
Oh yeah.
that sequence. They have a video of the we don't talk about Bruno. They have a video of the people doing the choreography for that, so that they have the references, because that's
right. Because a non-dancer can't design a person dancing because they don't know which way to make their limbs go.
Well, it's not even that, because like if they were just needing like one, if it was a still image, they'd be fine, because you can find something and like you can cobble something together as an artist, obviously. But like when you are having to go around with movement, they have to be able
That's
to
what
see
I'm
how
saying.
everything flows together and
Yeah.
how all the moves work together. So
Yeah.
references are so very important for art, especially when you have complicated stuff like that. So, all right. Does anybody else have, before we get to like maybe favorite moment in the movie, does anybody else have any thoughts on the movie? Things they want to talk about?
We love Pain and Panic.
They're so good.
They're so like Pain and Panic. I related to on such a level of just like, wait, wasn't that the one we were supposed to? Oh, that's that mood right there. That's when you haven't texted your friend back in like 2 months, and then they message you like, "Hi, how are you?" And you're like, "Oh,
Right. I was supposed to send that. We have, if you've worked in customer service, you have either had that customer or had that boss.
Yep.
or you've been the pain, or you've been the panic."
Or both at once.
Or both. Yeah, it's that. I feel like that's a metaphor for ADHD or neurodivergency. It's just the
Yeah.
For me, it's the part where they say, "If is good." If is good.
my favorite part of the whole of them is the part where like Hades is tearing into them, and then all of a sudden, he hears, and thirsty, just explodes.
Yeah. Oh,
the air perks are so good.
Before we continue on, I did want, so like, I had a very different viewing experience this time around than I think I had as a kid, because as a kid, so many of the jokes, like, I just thought they were funny. I was like, oh yeah, that's funny that he sits on her lap and she shoves him off and all that. And then coming into this, I'm going, oh, that's slightly, that's kind of pervy.
Yeah, he is. Phil is completely pervy.
He is rape culture in a nutshell.
Yeah. Phil is absolutely a horn dog. Like,
he is, like, the amount of stuff that's in there that is like, this is the effect of rape culture on our society, because we think that this is okay. We think that this is fun, that she's like saying, they think no means yes and get lost means take me, I'm yours. Like, we think that's funny.
And the fact that she then says, Phil can explain it to you.
Yeah.
And calls him out on his crap. I'm just like, you go, girl.
Yes. But like, it's just,
out. Do it. Do the thing.
so much of that is passed off as a joke in this. And I was like, this is slightly uncomfortable.
Us millennials got fucked up.
We did. So, okay. Any other thoughts about the movie? No? Okay. I think Calvary made us say what our favorite song was. Was everyone on that stream or no?
I think there was.
Okay. I think we all have to say what our favorite song in the movie is. And then I think we should say what our favorite moment in the movie is before we move on. But my favorite song is, it's a tie between I Won't Say I'm in Love and Go the Distance. It just depends on which one I am listening to at the time. So
I would have to say Go the Distance is my favorite song, just because I have belted it out one too many times while
many times
doing the dishes or something in my kitchen, because it's nice and hollow-y.
Yeah, it's a very nice song if you just want something simple with lots of feelings in it.
For me, it's Go the Distance, followed by Zero to Hero, and then followed by I Won't Say I'm in Love.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I go between Zero to Hero and Gospel Truth, just because
yeah,
it's just a vibe. It sets the atmosphere, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here. I'm ready for it.
Oh, wow.
And with Zero to Hero, that meme just is constantly stuck in my head. And so it just lives in my brain rent free. And so, yeah, consistent.
Nice. Okay, and then what is your favorite or a moment in the movie that you think is, I'll give you options. You can either say what your favorite moment is or a moment you think is kind of underrated in the movie. One that I didn't know, like obviously I got like why they were using it. But one that I noticed this time around that I was like, oh, it's actually really cool how they interpreted that is when this Pain and Panic become the snakes and he like uses them as toys and like starts bopping them around. I was just like, you know, that's a nice little touch in there that like they could have just literally had him pound the snakes and like throw them. But like he does this very innocent childlike thing and like very pure.
Yeah.
Definitely carries forward to him later. I know I've asked you very difficult questions.
I was gonna say, yeah, because I'm just sitting here like, what is my favorite
it can't
part?
be during a song because I know the way that this movie is like there are moments that are good like with dialogue and stuff, but the songs are the best part of the movie. The script is okay, but it's without the songs it would not be as strong a movie as it was, you know.
Okay, you know what I think is the most underrated thing is how stupid the peasants were in the village. Like they were so
The
dumb.
way that they talked about what happened is like, oh, so basically 2020 to now.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
I don't blame them. They really like.
They've
Think
been
about
through
how
it.
hard it is to move now. They really didn't have many options about moving back then either, even fewer.
Yeah.
So
I just think that the way that they were written was very interesting.
they are hilarious. And then yeah, they're very funny.
I think just like the sarcasm, any point of sarcasm.
Yes.
Like with Hades talking to Meg being like, here's the guy. It just resonates in my soul a lot. So going through dialogue, like anytime that there's a sarcastic comment, that's probably like a favorite moment. But
yeah. Hades made me slightly uncomfortable in this one just because of how much Yiddish he uses and how very Jewish his features are. I'm like, you probably didn't know what you were doing there, but you were doing a thing there. It's not great. So, what about you, Thor? Did you have a favorite moment?
Yes, I did. I think for me, mine was when he goes to the Colosseum to see Zeus, and he has that where he's like, all he wants is to feel like he belongs somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I felt that in my soul. Mm-hmm. And then of course, you know, at the end when he is finally offered like full godhood and he's like, no, I want to stay down here with Meg. I'm like, are you serious right now, sir?
Like, come on. If Zeus is a god, let's talk about the reality that the plot doesn't make entire sense because of the limitations the gods have on protecting Herc, first of all. But second of all, I mean, if Hercules is turned into a god, can't they just turn Meg into a god too somehow? So Hercules got to turn back to a god.
I feel like in this movie is a lot harder for you to be made a god than it is an actual, like it's hard in actual Greek mythology, but Hercules is made into a god by the gods at some point. And he ends up marrying one of Zeus and Hera's daughters, which is weird now that I say that out loud. And I actually, like, I know it's not Meg, but I didn't think that she is the wife that I'm pretty sure he tears apart. And I'm like, this is...
Oh, I have a thought.
Like,
Go ahead and finish your thought, though.
But yeah, there was so much, like, it's so funny when Zeus is explaining the rules to him, like, he is not the one that's in charge of the rules. Like, he's the one that gets to decide who lives on Mount Olympus. Like, sir, You are the king of the gods. So that is a very
Well, you know, good old Zeus, hands off with all his children.
Yep. Which probably honestly better for them.
Didn't you make a comment about like the fact that he sacrificed his life at the end to save Megara, but he sacrificed his life with the Hydra to be swallowed? So
he literally, for the entire movie, the things that he does to become a hero is exactly what he does with Meg at the very end, because he is willingly putting himself in danger to save other people. Is your partner critiquing my critique?
No. He was adding his own. He can't hear.
That's funny.
Can I change my answer for my favorite moment?
What's your favorite moment?
When they went to see Oedipus. He's like, and I thought my life was when he's like, I thought my life was missed.
As someone who has actually had to read Oedipus more than once, I mean, you're gonna walk away from that play. You could have the worst life ever and still go, oh God, that dude has it rough.
Oh, yeah, so good.
Just like, for those who don't know, Oedipus is the one that was prophesied that he would kill his father and marry his mother. And so his father sends him away. And because he doesn't because of that sequence of events, he ends up accidentally killing his father, and then he marries his mom.
Not knowing
and then he has to gouge his eyes out and go crazy. It's a whole mess. It's just like, anyways.
And this is after he has kids too.
Yeah.
So
they have kids.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. For one thing that you mentioned that I absolutely love is how well they're able to balance like serious stuff with humor, because that scene in the temple with that first scene with Zeus, you've got this really serious moment of this kid like being like, great Zeus, and like trying to like all of this after this huge impactful song, and then you have him going because this giant statue.
He's super excited and proud, and then Hercules just like, oh my God, just runs away.
So,
I mean, yeah. I too would be terrified if a statue spoke to me.
Also, you have to have a special love for Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Pegasus is a whole
Pegasus would not get enough screen time.
When he turns into a helicopter, that was my favorite. I was like, I wish I had a flying horse that would turn into a helicopter. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is my hair up?
That was really funny.
See, Phil might have been a pervy dude, but at least he knew.
I mean, he knew. It was funny. It's funny though, because like they did such a good job of, while she is still working for the enemy, setting Meg up as a sympathetic character, because from the very beginning they kind of make it obvious that this is not entirely by her choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they did a very good job. Like, people could take notes about how they do that, because like it was really well done, in my opinion. Like, we don't get the full story, but we know something's up and that this is not an equal power dynamic here.
Yeah.
So, still not as creepy as Frollo, but
I don't think anybody will be more creepy than Frollo.
Oh,
Frollo is the
one
scariest
eyeball
villain, in my opinion.
The one eyeball in the Fates.
Yum.
Oh,
I was scared with that.
When I was a kid, so much. I was always so grossed out by the eyeball. It just like think of the germs. Think the germs. Just sticking the eyeball
and they squish it. They make it sound squishy.
So here's the thing.
Props to the sound person for doing that.
Yeah, them passing it around and sticking it in their own eye sockets and stuff, that I can be okay with, because like magic, they're gods, whatever they prep. But then when it gets on the ground, and I'm just imagining all of the grit and the dirt that is going to be on it, and then Hades rubs it on his and I'm like, there's gonna be fuzz. I'm just like, not gonna feel like, I know what it feels like when you get dust in your eye. It's not gonna be fun.
Yarf.
So, okay. We had the movie. We also
They're little
had...
tongues too.
Sorry, what was that, Brie?
They're little tongues.
Yeah, it's weird. What's
I
that?
couldn't do the
There's though. It's such a...
I couldn't do the pink Pegasus with Panic. That
was weird.
That was like My Little Pony horror.
Yes, and I didn't like My Little Pony to begin with.
That's funny. That's funny. Okay. So we didn't just watch a movie.
Yes,
We also had a group book, which was Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. It's very good. I am going to start out with the caveat that we obviously none of us are Black or African here, so we're only speaking on our experience of the book, and what we enjoyed. Definitely, there's going to be stuff that went over our heads, and we're just going to start out by acknowledging that. But for those of us that were able to get our hands on the book, what did y'all think of it? Thor, this is just going to be one long advertisement for you. It was
Eventually I will get it.
Yeah. I'll just say this. I was about here when I realized I needed to go buy it. And if I had thought that there would be hardcovers at Barnes & Noble, I would have gone to get it right then and there. But I'm pretty sure that it's probably in paperback now because the newest book has come out.
I wonder if it's a good paperback or if it's like a floppy paperback, because I feel like it would have floppy paperback vibes.
Floppy paperback vibes are the best paperback vibes. But I personally like hardcovers because I'm a little bit hard on my books. So, but what did we all what are some of our general thoughts? We won't get into spoilers just yet if you're watching. What are some of our general thoughts? I loved it. I thought it was so well done. Just so many
Very
things.
well paced.
Yes.
Yep.
Jesus.
Very phenomenally paced.
Yes.
Fabulous characters that you can connect with and you care about. You genuinely are. It's easy to care about them. Multifaceted bad guys.
Yeah. It's interesting because we have in both cases, we have villains here that, unlike Hades, are trying to do what they think is right.
Right.
But it also is still kind of rooted in a place of insecurity or hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's still in some way about them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that insecurity or hurt is related to a family trauma.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting connection.
I just was impressed by the amount of world building, character, everything that she was able to get across in less than 400 pages. It's not even 350, I don't think.
Yeah, easy to understand world too.
Yeah.
For being as fantastical as it is, it's easy to follow the world and the magic system.
Yeah, she definitely leans into and really uses allegory very well. You can tell where she's using real world stuff to build her world. And then having that kind of feed into she's able to, because she's done that, she's able to take this world, create kind of a instead of a Eurocentric idea of what colonialism looks like, she creates more of an African idea of what would look like. Just knowing some of the history that I know. And she really reimagines it from a completely different lens. And you can tell the kind of ideas that she is playing around with and that have formed her idea of what good, I don't know if ruling is, but good leadership should be, because a lot of this is just a critique of how imperialism and colonialism, there is no way to do that and have an equal power dynamic. It just doesn't happen. It can't happen.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Who is everyone's favorite character?
Ooh.
Dun dun.
I think mine probably. I loved Tarsai because she's just such a wholesome being that just wants people to love her. But I also really loved Jeet. Sanjeet was just like, I am a sucker for the big like character that's being forced to be violent, but is secretly just really a teddy bear on the inside. I'm just like, I just want only good. Like, please make him stop hurting people. I like
violent, soft characters. Yes.
Yes, the soft character that is forced to be violent. You know, that's just such a that's a trope for me.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that I have a favorite character. I like the best friend a lot. I can't think of her name off the top of my head.
Kira.
Yes, thank you. I was like, it's a name that I know. It's not in my brain. Yes, Kira. I liked her a lot. I like that she's present enough that you get to like love her, but like she's not a part of any of the drama, you know. Because so often there's all a conflict between the best friend and the main character.
She's not the cause of the drama. She involves herself for sure, but she doesn't cause it.
Right. She's so supportive. She steps in and backs her friend up. She tells her to stop being hard on herself for things that are out of her control. And things that like we all need that person in our life that will tell us this is not your fault. Stop hating yourself and stop the negative self-talk. We all need that person in our life. And I appreciate that she's that person.
That is very good. I thought I liked how we had, because this very easily could have been a book that got drowned with characters, considering that there are 12 people on this council. And I liked how it was very obvious that like the characters knew the other council members, but we mostly focused on Tarsai, Dio,
Sanjeet.
oh my god, Sanjeet and Kira. Like those are the ones that we saw the most, along with with Wooin and Kathleen.
Yeah, I appreciated that too.
Like she was very choosy about who you got to see and meet and know.
And what's cool about that too is like it gives her the opportunity to expand if she ever felt led to go back to this world or this story. She could, have, small stories that go with the other characters if she wanted to, but it keeps it from being overly expanded from the get-go.
Yeah.
Some stories don't drag out.
Overwhelmed. And I think that helps, especially because we start with Tarisai and she's so isolated at the beginning.
Right. And so you learn so much so fast.
Yeah. The one thing that I really disagreed with in this book was the idea that the lady loved her. Because I cannot see loving your child and also doing what she did to her child at all. Like any of that. So Rose says, I like how I had sympathy for the villains, but still I hate them. Like, yeah, you could definitely see.
For me, I think it's I can understand why she would feel that way because her perception of love was already very twisted as a person. And then she did, I think part of it too is, having watched her, but having to distance herself from her and all of that. Like she saw all of the good parts of this girl and like seeing a girl that's, smart and, silly and funny and goofy sometimes, but also, has feelings and emotions and, is literally crying her eyes out, screaming and sobbing because she misses you. And like, that I feel like is going to tug at you in a way where, even, how she's able to just sit there and not, I don't get, but I think that it's rooted in just her twisted.
Yeah. And her twisted, well, I mean, she really makes it very obvious that the lady sees Tarisai as an extension of herself. She calls her maid of me the entire book. She doesn't use her name until the very, very end. And so you can definitely see that she doesn't think of Tarisai as a separate person all that much, which is sad. And then
Mhm.
even like her like trying to be like, yeah, I stayed away because I thought it was what was best for her, not what was best for the child. She did not want to accidentally give away her third wish.
Exactly.
It's like, it's okay, so give the child your third wish earlier. Like, so, yeah. I had another thought that we were gonna do. Oh, Ro brought up, I like the whole friend family group.
Mhm.
So I liked it, but I'm also conflicted because I have feelings about the ray and the fact that it forces proximity. That is a very uncomfortable thing for me, personally. To be like, not hey, you're very close knit with this group, but you have no choice but to always be with one of them, or you get sick. I'm just like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's not
how
my
did you all feel
favorite
about
trope.
that?
I didn't think about it too hard at the time when I was reading it, but it definitely isn't my favorite trope. I've seen it before, and it's not my favorite type of thing. Like
I actually don't think it's a trope or like just something that she's doing there. I think it is or just like put in there for the plot. I think she is actually going to do something with that. Like
yeah, you might. That's a very good.
Yeah.
Point.
It's like it's a definite downside.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it where it's been more of like they have to like have physical contact, and that is more bothersome to me.
Mm-hmm.
That I can at least it's not like they have to physically touch, but it still feels like the forced proximity
Yeah.
is a little too forced.
Yeah. Just the idea that you cannot really have like as an introvert, you cannot really have time to go be by yourself.
Yeah.
Without getting ill. It's like how does anyone?
Well, like your time is so limited as to how much you can have, really. Because it's like you can go for a little bit, but then you're gonna feel sick pretty soon if you don't go back.
And it's funny, and I think the reader is supposed to see the flaw in that, but it's interesting how the people who are in the situation do not. Like they're like, oh yeah, this is just a normal part of us being this way. We don't like they don't see how weird that is once they are inside of it. They see that from the outside, but not when they're inside of it. So, let's see. Was there in? Oh, I left my notes over on the other. They're in one of the other books. Where is it? Ta-da. I have my notes. Yay! No, I don't. They're in the other room. It's fine. What did y'all? What are some of the thoughts y'all had in this? What about the twists? Because I feel like at the end of every part, she manages to do like this twist kind of on what you thought the original plot was going to be. What did y'all think of that?
I felt the twists mostly towards the end. Like the last couple hours of the audiobook for me where honestly, like the whole last part, I feel like is the main intense twistiness.
Yeah.
But I really appreciated the way that the twists were done. They were surprising, but not so much so that it was like unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was like easy to follow, but not like there's enough room for you to think like, oh, maybe it's not going to do that, and then it does.
I really liked that. Like, she would let you get comfortable in what you thought the plot was, and then she would turn it on its head. Like, I thought we were going to do so much of the book with Tarsai trying to like resist being a part of his council, and then she's like, oh no, she's going to become a part of his council because she's going to do this thing so that she doesn't remember what she's been asked to do.
Yeah, that was
completely changes what the plot is going to be. And I was like, whoa, what?
You think it's going to take the whole book to get her to be part of the council.
Yeah. And then I also did not comprehend. We're getting into spoiler territory here, so if you don't want spoilers for Raybearer, just you can click off. This is your warning. Sanjeet's background is so very, very sad and tragic, and the worst part is that there are kids who have his real story.
Yeah.
So many kids still who have his real story,
Yeah.
and have to live that and live through that. Toxic masculinity at its finest.
And
I don't
vicarious
going
parenting.
on to that, guys. Where was like, oh, we were going into spoiler territory, so go off. If you do not want spoilers, goodbye. Have a nice day. It was really interesting to me because, like, I put together pretty early on that her mom had to be related to the Emperor, Olugbami.
I didn't.
So I was like, this is
thought
very much
Helen
giving
from
this
somewhere.
woman was cheated out of her birthright vibes. So I figured that out, but it did not occur to me that that would mean Tarisai is also an heir to the throne until they were actively talking about it. I thought that idea of like having 13 types of death was such a clever, like an interesting way to do it. And I don't know if it has any basis in anything else, but I just thought that that was so interesting. And the fact that like you have to hide the ways that you are not immune until you have your full counsel. That was such an interesting like thing to put in there. So
I agree.
yeah.
I feel like there were so many different like small elements. None of them were like the whole thing, but there were so many small elements that were possibly pulled from other sources or like inspired by other things. And I just really enjoyed that it felt like very much like
There it goes.
Words. What is the word?
What is the word? Can you describe the word?
No.
What was context again?
The things being like feeling very much like they're inspired by other things.
Mm-hmm. Allegory, representative. It's not stereotype.
No.
But it's another version of. I actually really liked. So Rose says the two rulers of the empire was a shock to me. I actually really like the idea that to have balance, you have to have two people who are not married. That's a key.
Amen, sister. Amen.
Yeah.
Like with equal power. So, what is the word? I know what word you're thinking of, Bree.
Yeah, I'm very saddened.
Let's see. Synonyms of stereotype.
Let's see. That's not the word. It's like
not the word.
It's a different connotation that it has. Oh, I'm annoyed.
We'll move on, and then you can like
it'll come
it out in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it'll scream at us.
So did any of y'all have a favorite moment in the book of it as of itself?
I liked the part where they went back to the house.
Oh yeah.
That whole section of them going back to the house and her like getting the opportunity to like review her past in a different perspective, look at her life, her childhood in a different light and in a different way, and get the answers that she's been seeking and all of that. Like and I'm not gonna lie, the fact that her mom kept journals was maybe also very enjoyable to me because I'm a journal nerd. But like just that whole part of her getting like some resolution to some of the things that she went through and some of the feelings that she had, that helped her to like move forward in her you know, because she had been sitting there with all that conflict, and like it resolved some of the, you know, confusion about her youth and her thoughts about her mom and
like
all of
realizing
that.
that her mom's not as perfect as she thought she was and all of that.
Right. It's like, okay, she's not perfect, but also she's not necessarily the worst human. Like she's trying to do a thing. It's not the right thing, but it's a thing.
It's one of those things, like, I understand from an emotional point what her mother is trying to do.
Exactly.
I also think her mother is trying to do the wrong thing.
Exactly.
She is absolutely trying to do the wrong thing, because the right thing, number one, would be to be like, okay, well, you know what, maybe empire is bad.
Right.
Maybe having one person in charge of all of these countries is bad, especially with what we start to see towards the end of the book with like the forced unity, which is not the way.
That was such a great topic point to pull.
Yes, that was such a great topic point. It was a great like hit. Oh, we're gonna get there, Ro, don't worry. It was such a great thing to hit, to kind of like really emphasize how bad those, like, it doesn't offer any solutions just yet, even though like in my mind I kind of have an idea what the solutions are, but like showing how the more that people are being pushed to be united, the more they are going to resist that and try to protect their own.
Right. And the importance of individuality and culture and history, and you know, all of the things that they were trying to destroy.
Yeah.
You know.
And then like erasing your differences is not the way to overcome them, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Amen.
So
preach it, girl. Like, spot on.
Yeah, you've got like that's the thing they always get, is you can't just make people give up who they are. Rose says, yep, forced unity and assimilation. Ro also says the romantic subplots, maybe warm inside. First off, I love how pure Dio was when he's like, I don't think I want sex. I'm like, I know I have to have a kid eventually, and I guess it's going to be you. And I'm just like so glad that they didn't.
I know, right?
Like, oh, it's another John Eris situation.
Like before that, I always felt like they were more like best friends.
Best friends. And I love that she kind of like, they kind of at some level knew that they were not meant to be romantic. I love that. But I did like the little romance. Like, there wasn't enough of it for me, but I did like the little romance between her and Sanjeev.
I feel like maybe that is expanded on more in book 2.
I'm hoping that it's going to, because like there wasn't. It would not have worked if it was expanded on in this book, because of everything that was going on, and because they are separated for huge portions of it.
And I feel like it would have felt too rushed because of their age. You know, like they grew up together and everything. So it you know.
It would have made other, like, she would have had to rush other aspects of the plot or have a longer book to give me what I wanted.
Right.
But I still wanted more of it. My favorite moment, though, I did in fact write the quote out and lose my mind over it.
Ooh, there were some good quotes.
Yes, but it's a specific line of Sanjeev's that I did. Where did I put it? Okay, when it comes to you, I will never stop falling. And I just was like, oh my God.
It's so good.
This boy knows what he's doing.
I love that.
I loved it so much. What about you, Paige? Did you have a favorite moment?
Oh, I think one that has stuck with me was going through the bush. And like how she had to overcome hers, and then just the interaction between Sanjeev and his brother, even though it was the way that it was, I was like, oh, this is hitting in the feelings. And then then leading and find, like them not leaving and going and finding the group, it just it set things up so well, and it really showed Tarasai's just caring nature.
Yeah, and it's something that will be useful to her later. Like it sets up so many things for her later. And the fact that she was able to notice and recognize that like these other things that she's stumbling through are very obviously for the people they were with,
Mhm.
you know, that saw them. So,
And I think using her halo for constantly using it for good
yeah,
and taking
To
Sanjeev's
communicate?
memory saved, and yeah, and then also for like the dude that was in the bush and was not okay, and so she just took it.
that memory.
Yeah.
That one I felt a little bit conflicted about because I feel like that's something that like maybe it needed to be suppressed for the time. But like
Yeah,
that's something
rather
that
than
someone should
removed.
be able to make the decision about do they want to lose that or not.
Mm.
However, I did like that like every time she took someone's memories, it was for altruistic reasons, and it was because like for the most part, it was because they asked her to.
Yeah.
You know? So, and it's interesting because like Sanjeet's memories, at least, and I don't know if it's because she was younger and not as in control of her halo, but his memories came back.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that dude's memories are going to come back at some point as well, and if she just was like giving him time to recover from the bush before having to deal with that again.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we are coming upon the end of our time, or we're going to start wrapping up here in a hot minute. So, is there anything else y'all wanted to bring up about the book? Anything else you all wanted to talk about it? No, just go read it, guys. It's a very good book. Like, again, I have yet to meet someone who has not liked it, or see someone who has not liked it. Everyone has liked it so far.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are people. I mean, like there are things in there that I feel could be critiqued, but I am not the person to critique them because, again, it's identities outside of my own, and I would need to read reviews before I understood. Rose says, "I found the law scenes tense." Like,
Yeah.
I loved how when we were talking about the children in the orphanages, they both came up with bad ideas. Like the idea of like we should give people money for taking in children, bad idea. The idea that we should just have people take in orphans for one day, bad idea. When the good idea is in fact to actually fund the orphanages and provide education to those children. That's the actual thing that needs to be done. All right. So that's gonna wrap up the last round of Volcathon. Do y'all have anything? It's really not hit yet that we're not doing this again.
No, it's weird.
It's a good ending, albeit bittersweet.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know how many other Disney movies, like there aren't any other ones that I really want to get to that have not had a recent like live adaptation. Like my favorite Disney movie is Aladdin, and it's been adapted. It's got a Broadway musical at this point. It's got a live adaptation, which is not terrible at this point. Like all of that. Little Mermaid's got one now. Beauty and the Beast has got one now. So it's like, and then you could go into some of the older Disney movies, but I haven't watched a lot of those, and I cannot speak to the content of those movies and whether or not there's stuff that would make me go, we're not doing that one. We're just not gonna do that one. You know? So thank you to everyone who has participated for the last 3 years. Thank you to all of my lovely co-hosts who have participated. Do y'all have anything on your channel you want to plug?
Not currently.
Not currently. Okay.
I am going to do things so that I can put videos up again. And I also am going to be doing a reading challenge for myself over October, and will be attempting to read more books in a month than I think I have all year, which I haven't read a lot this year. So it won't be that like challenging in numbers to the average human, but for me so far this year, it'll be a challenge.
They're going. I hear that.
Progress. That's what we're going for. Progress.
Nice.
Spooky book challenge.
Do you have anything?
I'm co-hosting a readathon next month called Camp Crystal Lake Readathon. I'm the team captain for Camp Elm Street, so there will be a movie watch along. I've never seen it before, and I'm also a scaredy cat, so this is going to be fun.
I love that you're like, I'll help co-host a horror-themed readathon. I've never watched a...
That's interesting.
My partner is going to be sitting beside me, and I'm just going to be clinging to him the entire time and hope I find it funny rather than scary.
You know, I do advise, like, if you watch horror movies, you always just watch them with mute on. They're way less scary when you can't hear. It's the music.
It's the music.
It's the
Also,
music, yeah.
like, some of the more newer horror movies do so many jump scares, it's unreal.
Yeah.
So
like,
just put it on mute and you'll be fine, buddy.
I suppose like the main horror movie that I've seen is It Chapter 1, and I watched the entire thing through my shirt and cried multiple times.
Oh my god, that was not a good experience. That was not a good experience.
And that was in the movie. That was actually at the cinemas because my partner at the time thought it would be a great idea.
No, that's a horrible idea. What the? No. Oh, you poor thing.
I've never
Start with something cheesy or like Scream or something.
And Black Swan, now that I think about it, but I had emotionally repressed that because I was not okay.
No, that was, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that's my level of, this is going to be fun.
I have never watched a horror movie either. I read horror books, but I've never watched a horror movie. It's just never helped me to watch it as a movie. I don't know why.
My brother likes them. I have never really watched them because my mom didn't let us as kids, and I'm like, some of these sound interesting, and I like the mystery and the suspense aspects of it, but I don't need to watch them.
Yeah, I like reading horror books, but watching it on screen just hasn't ever appealed to me.
Paige and I are also part of a readathon called October, starting on October 1st. My TBR will be coming out for that on next Sunday, hopefully, if all works well. We do have a hurricane coming, so my windows may not give me light. We may be boarding those up, and if they get boarded up, they will stay boarded up until hurricane season is over. Don't know how I'm going to film if that's the case, but we'll figure it out. And the last time we did this, I was in my old setup that was like right here, and I had like my desk lamp was my light source. So like I had 2 desk lamps that I was using to light myself. But anyways, yeah. I have everybody, all of the co-hosts are linked down below in the description box. If you want to check out their channels, please do. Please go read Raybearer and tell everyone how great it is. And I need the next book now. So anyways, that is it for now, my friends. I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye.